Okay, hear me out. I don't want to go into the typical conversation of how money can't buy you happiness, can't buy you love, blah, blah, blah. What I really want to tell you is that after doing this for so long and being on my own so long, those wins of having big deposits or having money put into my account just don't have the same emotional and psychological impact they used to. And what I'm really saying is, for example, I had a deposit hit my account. This morning, I looked at my phone. I saw that it was there. I knew it was coming. It was a couple $1,000s. And I felt nothing. I felt nothing. It felt, I mean, again, it was confirmation. I mean, maybe a tiny bit of relief, but this idea of joy, no. This idea of happiness, no. The idea of, okay, now I can move forward with my plans to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I mean, I was satisfied in that sense. Like that money showing up now means I can do this other thing that I had planned. But this idea of joy and happiness and relief, no, nothing. However, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. When I graduated college, I only made $27,000 a year. I didn't make much money. I was still struggling. Even after getting a couple of different jobs, I didn't make much money. And so when I started out on my own, I had been living my whole life at a lower middle class lifestyle. It was never enough. I never had enough money to buy 4 brand new tires at one time on the same day in cash. Ever. It was, I had to make a choice between an oil change and a new tire, or getting like 3 bald tires and try to get 1 good tire, or just, it was bad. Like when I tell you the biggest thing that gave me anxiety back then was seeing my service engine light. That would ruin like my whole week. Just seeing that little, to this day, when I see the service engine light, it still like makes me feel a certain kind of way, man. Like I was broke. And so when I started doing my business, I had no idea it would be successful. I knew I wanted it to be successful. I prayed for it to be successful. I had hopes. I felt like God was telling me it was going to be successful. But what I'm telling you is, back then, I never had so much cash just laying around that I could just do whatever I want. Everything was like pinching and saving, and go to Ross and go to Marshalls and don't buy new shoes. Go to the discount stores, go to the outlet malls. Like never, ever buy things at full price. That was my life, my entire life, until like my 30s, like my early 30s. Okay. So trust me when I say, I don't say this, I didn't put the title of this video lightly, but what I'm telling you is, back then when I was broke, and if I had $1,000 just randomly show up in my account, if I did something at $1,000, that like made my whole, I would drop to my knees and pray and be all emotional with tears in my eyes. Like, thank God, this $1,000, I could finally buy tires. You get, you get what I'm saying? It was like such a big deal to have a check that I could deposit in my account that had 4 figures. 4 figures was a big deal. And I'm not saying it's not anymore. I'm just saying that over time, as I got used to bringing in those things, and as I've been blessed, right? What I'm saying is those amounts no longer have that same type of psychological impact. For one thing, like I've started to trust myself more. I've started to trust God more. I've started to trust that the talents that I have are actually good enough, that I am good enough. Okay? A lot of that psychological fear and scarcity, and it was just, I just did not know if it was going to work. I didn't know if I was good enough for this thing to work. I didn't know if God gave me the wrong mission. I'm like, of course he didn't. But I just felt like, man, all this stuff was happening to me. I got let off from my job. I wasn't ready to quit yet. I'd had a plan, but I wasn't ready. It just seemed like I was just thrown out into the wilderness, and I just had to make it work. And it did. It absolutely did. It took a little while, but it did. And I say all that to say that when that deposit hit my account today, 16 years after I started my business, this amount that would have changed my life and made me go into like this speaking in tongues, praise dance, happiness dance of joy back 16 years ago, barely registered today. And don't take that the wrong way. I'm grateful. I'm supremely grateful for the income, but now it's become normal, right? And so if any of you have ever are at that point or beyond, you know what I'm talking about. It's not that money doesn't make you happy. It just gives you peace of mind. Money gives you peace of mind, right? I can get the tires. I don't have to drive around on the bald tires anymore. That worry of dying because I hit a puddle is gone. I can pay my gas bill. I can pay my light bill, my car note. I don't have to worry about my car getting towed. I come out of the club, I come out of the grocery store, and I try to find my car. I'm not panicking like, oh, did they take my car? Like I don't have that in my head anymore. That peace of mind, because that worry is gone, is what I now have. But I'm not happier. I'm just more at peace. I can step out of the grocery store knowing that if my car isn't there, it was stolen. Okay? Or more than likely, I just parked over there and totally forgot. I just parked in a different area than I normally do. And I just have to hit the little button until I find my car. Okay? Having the money gave me peace of mind. I have peace of mind now. I can do the things that I want and not think about it too much, right? If I want to go see my family in Texas, I just go online and buy a ticket. I don't think about, okay, I need to work all these extra shifts so I can afford this plane ticket. And then I get there, okay, where am I going to stay? And how, do I have any money to eat? And how am I going to? I don't have to do that anymore, right? If I want to fly my mom to see me, or fly to go see my mom, or do whatever, I just buy it. You get what I'm saying? If I need new tires, I just buy the tires. I take my car to the dealership now. Like before, I would never take it to the dealership. It was always like Shade Tree Mechanic plus Jiffy Lube with a coupon plus the cousin that did brakes. You get what I'm saying? That was my life for so long. And now it's not that way. And I'm immensely grateful. But what I'm trying to tell you is the money only gives you peace of mind. It gets those worries of getting kicked out of your home or getting evicted or homeless or not having a car or not having a way to get to work or having holes in your clothes. It gets rid of that stuff, but it doesn't make you happy, right? Because the stuff that makes you happy is your family. Stuff that makes you happy are your friends. Stuff that makes you happy are those the time you spend with your kids or your nephews or your family members and you're just goofing off, or your friends and your buddies just drinking and hanging out by the pool and just laughing about some crazy story from college. That makes you happy. That makes you happy, right? And so what I'm trying to help y'all do is make the money so you have the peace of mind, but you also have extra to go spend time doing those things that actually make you happy, right? Like I went with my buddy to go see the eclipse in April this year. It was amazing. We went to like this park in the middle of nowhere in like Indiana, right? And then we climbed this mountain. There's a whole bunch of people on this mountain and we watched the eclipse. It was amazing, right? That didn't cost any money. But it was amazing. That was fun. That made me happy. Hanging out with my friend watching the eclipse. Not the car I drove to get there. Not the hotel that I stayed in. Not the fancy breakfast, right? If you ever get blessed, and I'm making these videos to help you get there, but Once you get to the point where money, no, you don't need the money to get out of this. You don't need to have this anxiety because there's no money. Once you get past that, you really have to know why you're doing this and what really makes you happy and reconnect with that, or just keep that in mind, right? Because there's a lot of times that the money that we make, the money that we want is tied to some kind of psychological trauma or some stuff that happened to us as kids, right? And if you can, figure that stuff out before you start this venture, because there's a lot of people I know that have money that are still miserable, right? They were miserable before they had money. Keep that in mind. I'm not saying wealth made them miserable. It didn't. They were already miserable. It's just now they have money and they're still miserable, right? Because they're using money to solve some type of psychological issue that they never got over as kids. I'll give you case in point. There's a lady that I know. She was in and out of homelessness in high school, right? You would have never known, ever. But now as an adult, she married a guy and they are always going on vacation. Always, like, stay on vacation. 200 a night, 300 a night, hotels, like destination, everything. And I talked to the husband and I'm like, bro, I mean, how are you doing this? He's like, with 2 jobs. And I'm trying to get her to like slow down, but he knows that she is running from that feeling of helplessness and poverty, going through that traumatic experience as a high schooler, right? So what I'm saying also is this money thing is mostly psychological. I knew a guy who has $5 million in his account. He will not turn on the heat in the winter. And his kids have to come to his house to like try to wrap the pipes so they won't burst, because he will only put the little electric heaters in the room that he's in. $5 million. Something happened to him where he does not feel comfortable turning on his central heat. This money thing is psychological. Make sure you have a handle on it. Make sure you have whatever it takes to make you feel okay. And then move forward. Take care of your business. Make sure you have peace of mind. But always keep in mind that happiness is not a dollar amount. Peace of mind is great. Get that. But happiness is something way bigger than that. Way bigger than a bank account. Way bigger than a bank account balance. Spend time with your loved ones and your family and your friends and your dog and your cat and your pet snake. If you whatever your jam is, do that. Be happy. Go climb a rock. Go play in the sand. Go swim. Play tennis. Box. Do something. Enjoy your life. Have fun. Even though when you're broke, it's really hard to do that. But don't forget, happiness doesn't come from money. Peace of mind can come from money. But happiness, that's on you. All right? Now take it easy.